Hello, welcome back to my garden here in Denmark. It's the 18th of March. This garden is located in Europe in a Zone 7 equivalent. If you remember my video from December, I guessed that it would be a warm winter, but it turned out to be wrong. Only December was warm. January and February were rather cold. We had snow in January and February for at least a good part of the month, and yeah, the garden was basically covered in snow. So it's really great that spring has arrived. Spring pretty much arrived just before March, so yeah, it was on time, but I had hoped it would have arrived sooner. I have cleaned up my borders, and by cleaned up, I have removed all of the dead foliage of all of the perennials. That did take a couple of days, but now it's done. And as you can see, I have also cleaned up my hellebores. And if you have hellebores, I would suggest that you remove the old leaves. You will be able to see the renewal of the plant a lot better. This is a larger specimen. I really like how they look. Also, just look at that patch of crocus right here. Looking great. I did not put that many in, so they have definitely naturalized right there. That is looking really great. And yeah, it seems like that type of crocus is doing really well here in the garden, right? I have that one throughout the center border, and they're looking great from the house as well. One of the plants that actually started blooming really early were these cyclamen right here. This is, I believe, cyclamen album. Started blooming really early, got covered in snow, and then continued blooming when it got free of the snow as well. So that has actually done rather great considering the circumstances this year. Also, you can't really talk about this garden right now without mentioning my witch hazel. And this is witch hazel Arnold Promise, a really great yellow variety. Again, I can see that from my living room windows. Yeah, the cyclamen, you can also get that in some rather stunning colors. Here in a really nice purple. And right here in what's probably a seedling, a combination of the two. You can see the really wide variety right there, sort of a cross, and perhaps what it crossed with. No guarantees though. I believe that most of my plants made it through winter. I am hoping that they did. The nice thing about a lot of perennials is, of course, that they will return year after year. There are few perennials that are categorized as short-lived, and of course there are also a few perennials that are not 100% winter hardy here. I tend to avoid those, so most of my plants will return. One thing that I might need to do something about is this red-leafed, or rather red-stemmed cornus. It has been looking really great all winter long, but a lot of the stems have started to turn rather grey. And I think I neglected the renewal of it last year. I should have trimmed out a couple of extra stems. And I think what I'm going to do is I will take out the majority of the stems when I have the time. So that is a job to be done here very soon. Oh, and the cat. Of course, the cat is out here. It has, during winter, it basically became an indoor cat. It really hates the snow and the wet. So yeah. Ooh. Yeah, the viewers are definitely going to chase you. Anyhow, yeah, as you can see, I have several red-stemmed cornus. I think they're really nice due to those red stems here in winter and spring. And you can see when the sun, I'm filming in the shadows, but that one plant out there is of course still catching the sunlight. Just look at that. Again, it's just a red-stemmed cornus. No more red than the others, but the sun of course makes all the difference right here in the evening. I should clean out my pond. You might know that if leaves break down in the pond, it will release nutrients and that can cause an algae bloom. So I should really get those out. Again, that corner, let's just get a really nice shot of that. That is looking great, right? Even here in spring with no leaves on the hedge, that corner is still looking great. Yeah, moving along, you can see nothing happened with that center right here that I'm turning into grass again, down in this part of the border. And yeah, the garden was covered by snow in January and February, so I only worked a little bit on it in December, so nothing has really happened during this winter, unfortunately. But that is what it is. Yeah, that middle border, the part of it that gets to stay is down. Basically that bamboo cane marks the split, right? It is actually looking quite good. All in all, I believe it's looking great. Also down here, some dog's tooth violets on the way. Only just appearing. No blooms yet. Do notice the spotted leaves on those. They are looking great. They're really small, but will divide rather fast. The big issue with getting those, they're not hard to grow. Only problem is quite often you'll get rather weak bulbs, and that is a plant that will, well, almost never grow if you get a weak bulb. If the bulb is soft, the game is almost always lost. So see if you can get really fresh bulbs. Other than that, I am really looking forward to having the garden season start. One final look. Yeah, it really shines out with that, you know, the yellow in the front and then the red-stemmed corners in the back. And of course the columnar hues are looking great as well. How do I keep them as columns? Basically buy a columnar variety and trim them a little bit. They do tend to become wider over time. I give these a trim every spring, so basically I'll give them a little snip and take some of those stems out that are beginning to be at an angle, basically. And yeah, how you want your hues is of course up to you. I want them to keep them dotted throughout the garden with a very slender, what would you call that, footprint. Basically, I like perennials and I like some greens around in winter, but I don't want them to dominate too much. I have seen them in places and also in Gardener's World where it can look really great when they dominate a lot as well. So yeah, it's a personal preference for this garden. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe if you want. Bye bye.